covering a topic which is very present in a lot of your minds right now. I would like to think we will be talking about dream work and interpretation. Because, of course, you can actually do some things in your dream states, like rituals and stuff like that, once you get into lucid dreaming and astral projection. But let's get started. Your best first step is to start recording your dreams every night. If you have trouble recalling your dreams, start by analyzing the way you felt when you woke up or the way that the dream made you feel. Often you will be able to work backward from that emotional response to the content of the dream itself. Jot down any imagery that stood out to you, as well as any plot lines or characters who were involved. So if any of you are familiar with the techniques that you would use for remote viewing, you're going to want to try as much as possible to do the same kind of thing with your dreams, where you value description over trying to label things. Focus on setting the scene instead of trying to figure out what you're looking at. Dream symbolism is a valid part of interpretation, but it's also very subjective, so don't get too hung up on that. Cultural differences can also make the context hard to pin down because you really want to tap into what the cultural significance and context is for you specifically, that your brain is going to be using to tell you certain messages, right? Many dream symbol encyclopedias, I have a couple here, are commercially available, which can be a good reference to use when you are beginning, but ideally you want to be aware of the context of your own existence to an extent that you understand what a symbol means to you specifically. These are the two that I've used. Well, actually, so I've used this one a lot. And I've had it for a very long time, since I was like in middle school. At one point I had a dog, and the dog got a hold of it even. But actually what I do now is I will type in whatever the image is and then dream meaning into Google and look at the results that come up. A technique which a very good friend of mine taught me is based on a scientific study, and you take 100 milligrams of B6 vitamin exactly 1 hour before you lie down to go to sleep. Not before you plan to go to sleep, but before you plan to lie down to go to sleep. So it takes a little bit of advanced planning to do this. And you want to make sure that you have a notepad and a pen, like pretty much in your hand when you fall asleep. Before you drift off, you firmly set the intention with yourself that the answer to a specific question will be revealed to you in a dream. And then as soon as you wake up, even though it's really dark, you scribble down as much as you can remember about the dream. Just scribble, even if it doesn't look like words, just get as much of it down as you can. It's useful to have writing implements as close to you as possible upon waking, but so one thing that I also do is to use the Notes app on my phone. This has the benefit of backlighting, but it has the drawback of possible diversion to social media or YouTube before the dream is recorded. You have to know your own limits as far as that's concerned. Two people that I recommend researching, if you haven't already, are Edgar Cayce and Robert Monroe. The Monroe Institute continues used to provide tools for expanding your exploration of dream and astral states. So let's start talking about lucid dreaming and astral travel. Once you become familiar with your dream realm, you can gain more control over the dream environment. You may realize that many of your dreams are representative of future events in your waking life. I will not go too much into depth into astral travel for this video because I'm really going to have to cover it in a separate video. But you can absolutely astral project either by accident or intentionally while you are asleep. The different levels of dream states also create a liminal space in which information can be stored, spell work can be coagulated, and deeper understanding of waking concepts can be reached. One thing reported in relation to vivid dreaming and astral projection, so this is just a caveat, is sexual arousal. This can be exploited by lower vibrational entities to serve their own purposes and drain your energy, such as like incubi and succubi. Dream states can also leave the conscious mind vulnerable to psychic attack and exploitation, which is the basis for bedtime prayers. If you wanted to go back and watch the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram video, part of that ritual is based around an old Jewish bedtime prayer that was actually meant to prevent attack from demons while you were asleep. And we also talked about that in the Lilith Demon Sleepover, so there you go, tying it all together. I've connected the two dots. You can inscribe the seal of Archangel Gabriel in gray or blue and orange paint on a small mirror and keep it underneath your pillow to keep you safe while you are asleep. And I will put that on the screen. Listening to guided meditation recordings while you are asleep can also provide a structure that makes outside interference much more difficult. Some ASMR videos are very good for this, but the more structured and the more positive the messages, the better. ASMR videos that are too abstract will not be directional enough to completely block out interference, but even the aspect of having an outside stimuli providing a link across the sleep threshold can also be enough to divert some negative energies. Rest is also important, so don't push yourself too hard when you are starting this work, because you still want to be able to get a good night's rest. If necessary, space 2 to 3 nights between your dream sessions. Short naps of 1 to 2 hours in length during the day can also be used to do dream work. You are going to know best how your body works. So people have also asked me about some of the different symbolism in dreams, and I'm just going to go through both of these books and cover some of the very common, or what I consider to be common, dream symbols, because of course everybody's dreams are different. I know some people have really tormented dreams. I don't really have tormented dreams, but I did have a situation with my sleep states for a long time that involved interference from outside sources. So you want to be really careful. It took me a long time to shake that off, but I'm free of it now. And this is the Dreamer's Dictionary by Lady Stern Robinson and Tom Corbett. And again, I've been using this for a long time. So an accident. The meaning of this dream varies greatly depending on the circumstances and surroundings, but as a rule, it is a warning. If you dreamed of an accident as such, you would be wise to avoid unnecessary travel for a few weeks. An accident at sea pertains to love affairs, on land to business affairs. If possible, you should avoid the thing that was involved in the accident for the 24 hours following the dream. That is, if you dreamed of a car crash, walk for a day, or maybe take public transportation, or see if you can get someone else to drive you. And be careful crossing streets, obviously. Steer clear of planes, trains, horses, knives, sharp instruments, fires, electricity, high places, or whatever pertained to the dream accident for at least a day. And if you can't avoid them, do take extra precautions. So, then like animals. To see wild animals in your dream is generally a good omen pertaining to business, but the interpretation depends on their attitude. If they were calm, your affairs will prosper, but if they attacked you or each other, you can expect some reverses. And then we'll probably come across like cats and dogs and stuff like that as we go through. Apparel. So to be concerned about your clothing is a dream of contrary. The more fashionable and elegant your attire, the more troublesome will be your problems crossing your path. Therefore, to be shabby, ragged, or even naked, I know we've all had dreams about being naked, can be a very lucky omen. However, an accurate interpretation of a dream concerning clothes often depends on the color of the clothing as well. Or like, a bag. The significance of this dream varies greatly according to its details. If the bag was of paper or was empty, it warns of financial embarrassment which could be avoided by a little extra prudence. A cloth bag forecasts business success, and a leather bag indicates unexpected but pleasant travel. Full or heavy bags are an especially auspicious omen for your dearest wishes. Or maybe like a banquet. There will be love, happiness, and abundant means within your family circle if you dreamed of an elegant banquet. However, if the occasion was in any way unpleasant, or if there were empty places at the table, you are being warned against a tendency to be quarrelsome. You can also see food or eating. So, if you dream about bathing in the open sea, it predicts a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. If you're in a lake, passing difficulties, and in a river, a happy surprise ahead. Bathing with others, a friend will approach you for help, and you can also look for water as a dream symbol. Now, this is one that comes up for me sometimes, or it might come up for some people. Hopefully it doesn't come up for very many of you. Being beaten. This is a dream of contrary in a peculiar way, for if you dreamed of beating or being beaten by friends or loved ones, it is a fortunate omen for personal or family affairs. However, if strangers were involved, it is a warning not to procrastinate in dealing the meaning of the dream will be very different from the imagery itself. Here we go, a bridge. The meaning of this dream depends on its aspect and your relation to it, so just make sure you're paying attention to like the scenery and everything like that as well, anything that's around you. As a general guide, if it was daylight and the structure was in good repair and you crossed it without difficulty, it signifies a satisfactory change and prosperity. If the structure was damaged in any way, you are warned against making any changes for the time being. You can also look up water, river, other symbols like that. If your dream involved the game of bridge, you are apt to be disappointed in a business matter. Yes, and your brother. If you dream about your brother or having a brother, the meaning varies according to the context and sex of the dreamer. For a woman, it signifies great domestic security, but for a man, it indicates family quarrels ahead. An objective dream of unity between brothers is an indication of financial stability. And that's the same like if it was a dream about your brother-in-law. About a building. The meaning of this dream is in line with its aspect. The buildings represent your life achievement. Therefore, if the structures were imposing, well-kept, beautiful, and or impressive, you can expect eventual luxury. If they were modest but pleasant in appearance, you can expect comfort but not wealth. And if they were old and or dilapidated, you better start saving for the rainy days ahead. Excuse me, sorry. How about change? If the main feature of your dream was the general impression or atmosphere of change, it is a straightforward omen and you should be prepared to adjust to a change, which may not entirely be to your liking. However, if the change involved an alteration in the direction of a walk, drive, or vehicle, the dream is a warning against procrastination in making decisions. Be more positive. And then, of course, you can see other dream symbols. You can look those up if they were related to that change. Or maybe climbing. If you're climbing a mountain, hills, stairs, or what have you, an increase in status or prosperity is forecast. Even if the effort seems to tax or stretch you beyond your endurance, you will still succeed, but only after surmounting strong opposition. Yeah, here we have clothes too. I'm really trying to stick to like stuff that seems pretty basic, that the kind of stuff that might happen in most people's dreams. The portent of a dream concerning clothes varies greatly with the details. It is a dream of contrary with respect to quantity, as the more clothes you had in your dream, the more urgent is the warning to prepare for difficulties ahead. However, if you were only partly dressed or stark naked, money luck is on the way. On the other hand, the act of putting on clothes in a dream signifies success ahead, whereas undressing is a forecast of reverses. Shabby or soiled clothes are a warning against business dealings with or through friends. Tight, uncomfortable, or back-to-front clothes suggest a need to protect your reputation by cooling down your sexual activities. crisscross. Speaking of clothes backwards, that might be a little before your time for some of you, and a little after your time for others. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Colors. You can expect increasing security and success in all your affairs if you dreamed of a mixture of bright colors. Individually, or if one color stood out in your dream, the significance is as follows. Blue indicates liberation from worry and or help from outside sources. Black is an unfavorable omen unless it is featured in a funeral or other appropriate situation, in which case it forecasts difficulties to be overcome. Brown means money luck. Bright red is a warning to curb your temper. Deep red forecasts unexpected good news. Green pertains to travel or news from a distance. Gray indicates a period of marking time. Although I don't know how many times I actually remember dreaming about gray. Lavender or mauve foretells minor disappointment or transitory unhappiness. Orange success suggests that an expected change in your situation will be delayed. Sorry. Pink predicts unusually great success. Purple is a forerunner to happy social affairs. Yellow forecasts setbacks and struggles before improvement can be achieved. White is a certain promise of success in all that concerns you. Dreams involving people of a color other than your own are generally lucky omens pertaining to money and or business, unless the people were some weird shade like green or blue, in which case the dream probably had a digestive origin and no significance. Yeah, here we go. Death. That's why all of you are watching this video right now, I'm sure. What does it mean if I dream about death? If you dreamed of being dead yourself, it indicates an approaching release from all your worries and or a recovery from illness. If you spoke with someone who is dead, you will soon hear very good news. To dream of a death frequently signifies news of a birth. To be aware of a dead person you cannot identify portends an inheritance which may not be personal, but could be indirectly beneficial. Oh, here we go. Sometimes I dream about drugs. I don't do drugs, though. The meaning of this dream varies greatly according to the details of its action. If you dreamed of being drugged to the extent that it interfered with or altered your normal movements and or behavior, it is a warning that there is active jealousy around you from someone who would not only be ready and willing to make capital of any mistake you might make, but might even try to mislead you into making one. Be extra careful of your actions following this dream. Drugs used in a dream as an antidote to pain predict an increase in income, but to take drugs as a lark signifies that someone is trying to lead you astray. If your dream featured addiction or an addict, it is telling you to stop drifting and take a more positive role in life. A dream of giving or selling drugs suggests that you have some dishonesty around you, and you do well to reassess your current companions. Of course, the foregoing applies only if you don't actually use drugs. If you do, they're just assuming that you're just dreaming about drugs because you like drugs. Oh, here we go. Eating. The interpretation of this dream differs greatly according to the circumstances and other factors involved, so you have to look at the various foods, fruits, vegetables, meat, etc. However, as a general guide, eat alone is a warning to guard against a loss of status or valued friends. Alright, so if you dream about embarrassment, it's another dream of contrary. The greater was your dreamed embarrassment, the bigger and more satisfying will be your coming success. If your dream concerned the embarrassment of others, it is reminding you to be firm in rejecting outside influences and relying on your own judgment. A flood, a variation of the obstacle dream, and for an accurate interpretation, all its details should be correlated, but as a general guide, if the flood was gentle and the water clear, your troubles will be short-lived. If the water was muddy and or the flood a raging destructive force, you can expect to have to hoe a long hard row. If you were swept away in the flood, it is warning that someone of the opposite sex whom you trust is actually trying to use you. If you escaped from the flood, you will be helped to overcome your obstacles. Food. As a general guide, seeing or preparing food is an auspicious omen, providing the food was fresh and sufficient for the occasion. But if it was spoiled in any way or you were short of it, you can expect some reverses which will require careful planning to overcome. Selling food is a dream of contrary and signifies a stroke of money luck. Buying food predicts a happy family celebration, but tasting food indicates a minor loss of money or personal property. And then you can also look up the separate food items on their own. Oh, fright. The augury of this emotion depends on the action. If you had a sudden fright, it indicates an unexpected success in some current activity. If your feeling of fright was general and or steady, it indicates that whatever your current fears are, they will not materialize. However, if you dreamed of deliberately frightening another person, you can expect reverses due to your lack of judgment. Genitals. This is a rather straightforward indication of your sexual attitudes and feelings as follows. To dream of your own or other sex organs being healthily normal signifies a satisfactory love life. A dream of diseased sex organs is telling you that you are either overdoing it or being dangerously promiscuous. Deformed sex organs in a dream are another form of warning against overindulgence. Unusual sex organs are a sign of underindulgence, and a little initiative might be a good idea. A dream which featured exposing the sex organs indicates that you are on the verge of being dangerously sex-starved, and professional advice would be useful. To dream of pain in the genitals suggests that you should see your doctor. So you can see that all of these things are pretty subjective and will depend a lot on the context overall in your life. What about a ghost? The meaning of this dream varies according to the action. If the ghost simply appeared in your dream, it is an omen of general good luck. However, if you were frightened by it or it spoke to you, it is a warning that some powerful pressure will be brought to bear on you to join in a scheme or activity which is against your principles. Resist the temptation with all the strength you can muster, and if necessary, get help from a trusted friend or advisor. What if If you dream about God, you can expect to achieve rare contentment and peace of mind through intelligent adjustment to circumstances and acceptance of your lot in life. If you had the rare experience of seeing, hearing, or being aware of God in your dreams, graven images, totems, or carved idols signify personal pleasure. What about your hands? The meaning of a dream featuring a hand or hands varies greatly according to the action and other aspects, but as a general guide, if the hands were dirty and or their appearance unpleasant, it is a warning to guard against behavior which could bring you into ill repute. Beautiful, clean, and well-groomed hands forecast satisfaction in life. Busy and or skillful hands predict well-earned rewards. Bent or gnarled hands signify an easement of financial worries. Waving hands indicate separations. Caressing hands are a sign of sincere love. Bloody hands are an omen of family quarrels. Washing your hands suggests you should make an effort to rectify some past injustice. Swollen hands predict an unexpected gain. Hairy hands forecast a stroke of business luck. Tied hands indicate frustrating obstacles, which in turn suggest a change of plans. A broken hand or the loss of a hand is a warning that you need to pay closer attention to your own personal affairs. A bandaged hand signifies temporary setbacks. The right hand predicts carefree joy. The left hand predicts irritation and minor difficulties. Very small hands portend infidelity. Very large hands are an omen of sexual satisfaction. Children's hands are a promise of happiness, and shaking hands is a sign of reconciliation, or it could be a renewed friendship. What about the head? The significance of a dream featuring the head must be determined by correlating its details, but as a general guide, a living head, your own or someone else's, is an excellent omen for all that deeply concerns you. A disembodied head predicts a new situation in which you will have to use your head rather than lose it. A small, narrow, or pointed head indicates more work and less profit than expected, whereas a very large, wide, or round head means the reverse. A swollen head is a warning against overconfidence. To dream of yourself or another having more than one head signifies a sudden gratifying rise in status. A dream of suffering pains in the head or headache is telling you to keep your private affairs to yourself. To see yourself or anyone else with the head of an animal is a warning against overemphasis on material or sensual pleasures. Remember that an ounce of restraint can frequently prevent a pound of regret. Strangely enough, in a dream, half a head is better than a whole one, as it forecasts achievement beyond your ambition. An accident or blow to the head suggests tension and or overwork. Try to take it easy for a time or have a change of scenery if possible. If your dream involved beheading, see behead. How about house? An old house signifies a reunion or renewal of an old association. A new house predicts financial security. Building a house or seeing one under construction forecasts unexpected gain, possibly through a legacy. Buying a house indicates a short but exciting love affair. Selling a house augurs a release from pressing responsibilities. A dream which featured a house being demolished or being in an empty one suggests you are grieving over a recent loss, broken relationship, or missed opportunity. Don't despair. Time really does heal all things. So, how about immodesty or immorality? A dream featuring immodest dress, actions, or language, whether your own or someone else's, is a warning to guard your temper. Whereas immorality, any action or atmosphere of this nature in a dream, is a reminder that we all have failings, and people who throw stones are apt to be hit by a ricochet. Don't criticize unless you are above reproach. Let's see what else. Oh, injury. This is a big one. If the injury was to your reputation, it is a dream of contrary and signifies pleasing recognition. But if the feature of your dream was physical injury, it is a warning that you are surrounded by hostile forces, and you must proceed very carefully in order to expose and thwart them. Here's one I think some of us dream about a lot. Killing. If you dreamed of killing someone, whether intentionally or by accident, it signifies a period of severe emotional stress during which you must make a heroic effort to control your temper. To dream of being a witness to a killing portends a change which will not be entirely to your liking. A dream of seeing others kill insects or animals prophesies help from friendly sources, but to dream of killing them yourself predicts that you will overcome your obstacles through your own efforts. What about knives? A sharp knife signifies personal strife. A rusty knife means family troubles. A broken knife indicates failure in love. An open switchblade knife or penknife predicts legal troubles. A closed one suggests financial reverses. A dull knife portends hard work with little reward. If you cut yourself with a knife, is a warning that you could be embarrassed by a neglected creditor. Don't stretch your goodwill too far. Maybe some of you dream about lips. Thin or cruel lips in a dream are a warning against making hasty judgment of others. Beautiful lips signify a successful sex life and happiness in love. Thick, overly sensual, or ugly lips forecast failure in love but success in business. Chapped, dry, or sore lips indicate a loss of status or business reverses. Children's or a baby's lips are a sign of true friendship where you least expected it. Maybe machinery. Smoothly running machinery in good condition is a sign of success in your current efforts. But if the machinery is idle or derelict, it indicates approaching family or employment problems. If you dream about a man, a dream featuring mankind as a whole is a warning of nervous depression due to overwork. Either slow down or take a vacation. To dream of a strange man augurs well for family affairs, but the meaning is modified to some extent by the details of his appearance, if you are aware of them, and his actions, if any, so these factors should be considered also. How about a dream of the market or a store? The interpretation of this dream depends on its details. If the market was well stocked and neat, and you were shopping or there was business going on, the augury is of abundance and prosperity. But if the food or merchandise was in bad condition or of poor quality, or if the place was empty or unattended, the portent is of hard times ahead due to overlooked opportunities. against an illicit affair or a questionable deal that you would find difficult to justify. To be called by a wrong name in a dream portends grave difficulties on the personal side of life, but they will ultimately lead to better understanding. They say if you dream of having a nightmare, that it's extremely rare phenomena. You probably have very deep-seated emotional issues and you should talk to a therapist. But I wonder if that counts as like a dream inside a dream. Like where you think you've woken up from a nightmare, but actually you're still asleep and the nightmare's still going on. What about a palace? If you dreamed of seeing a palace from the outside, you can expect an improvement in your affairs. But if your dream concerned the inside, you are being warned that your vanity could generate some harmful hostility. Listen more and toot your own horn less. If you're looking at photographs, it forecasts the pleasing renewal of an old friendship. But then if you're looking at pictures, watercolors, drawing, or modern pictures predict minor changes. Otherwise, you can look at the specific medium of the picture. Oh, a pile. If you dreamed of putting things in piles or of seeing piles of things, you are being cautioned about a forgotten or neglected obligation which could suddenly embarrass you. Don't compromise your integrity for the sake of passing pleasures. They also have plants. Healthy plants growing indoors or out are an omen of general good luck in your current undertakings, and the omen is intensified if the plants were in bloom. However, if they were wilted or in poor condition, they signify a warning of possible difficulties due to careless planning. A dream of repotting, watering, feeding, or setting out plants is a promise of a contented home life in comfortable circumstances. And we'll do a few more. Police in your dream are a symbol of security in your life, and even if your dream involved trouble with them, it is an omen of contrary and signifies that you will get unexpected help with a current problem. If you dream of a swimming pool, it's a symbol of social gaiety unless it was empty, dirty, or in poor condition, in which case it is a warning against gambling or speculation. A garden pool is a happy omen for love affairs. To dream of playing pool suggests that you would benefit from cultivating new interests and new companions. Excuse me, rude to all the pool players out there. Oh yeah, swears. So if you dream about swears, the meaning depends on the sex of the user. If it was a man who used profane language in your dream, you can expect a temporary decrease in your income. But if the profanity was used by a woman, you are being warned about a casual love affair, which could develop into a serious embarrassment unless you are extremely tactful. Try to remember that when you are through with or tired of someone, it is a safer policy to lay him or her aside than to throw him or her away. Maybe some of you have dreamt about a race. To watch any kind of race being run is a form of obstacle dream in that it predicts success in whatever concerns you most, providing that in your dream you bet on or rooted for the winner. If you dreamed of running in a race yourself, you can expect an exciting new offer, whether you won or lost. A dream featuring race relations signifies progress if the climate was pleasant, but disappointment if it was not. Here we go, reading. Reading in a dream is a generally favorable omen signifying progress. If you are reading aloud, it predicts help from outside sources. To hear someone else read foretells future comfort and peace of mind. What about your relatives? Freedom from worry is forecast in a dream concerning cousins. Aunts and uncles signify money matters, and other relatives apart from immediate family are an omen of help when needed. Of course, the dream action must be correlated to get an accurate interpretation, and then of course you could look up brother or sister. What about a restaurant? This is a dream of contrast in meaning, which relates to your personal circumstances. If the restaurant was, by your standards, very posh and or ostentatious, it is a warning that temporary reverses or a sudden extra demand on your resources will entail a need to economize. If the restaurant was of the type you would normally patronize, it signifies pleasant social activities connected with business. But if the restaurant was of the cheap, greasy spoon category, or a counter cafe kind, you can expect an increase in your income soon. Oh, here we go. Here's one about the Black Lodge specifically. Room. If a strange room was the main feature of your dream, the meaning depends on the action and other elements which should be correlated, but as a general guide, to enter a strange room is a warning that a casual fare could turn out to be an incubus if you aren't careful. To find yourself in a strange room signifies sudden success if it was reasonably well furnished, and legal troubles if it was empty or only partially furnished. If the room was a very small one, it indicates a lucky last-minute escape from a regrettable mistake. And we're getting pretty close to the end, so I'll pick one more. Yeah. Okay, so what about the sky? The omen here depends on the weather details. A clear sky, whether light or dark, signifies happy times ahead. A few clouds dispersing are a sign of minor difficulties easily overcome. A few clouds gathering indicate obstacles which will require more effort, and a stormy sky portends a period of stress that will require courage and determination. A gray sky is a sign of reliable friends who will stand by you in all kinds of weather. So there you go. Those are some basic dream symbols. seems right and what doesn't, depending on your specific dream states. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget that I'm giving away 3 free readings when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So fill out the form down in the description box, and that way you don't have to put your email address in the comments or any personal information. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends if you think they might get something out of it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did in the comments down below. Thank you so much, and blessings.